Chapter 641. No longer the Tower of Eternity. And with the arrival of the super artifact, the Tower of Eternity, Lin Yu's magic vortex also became more stable. It can even be said that even without the suppression of the power of creation, the more than 2,000 elemental magic powers with different attributes in the magic vortex will no longer conflict. The reason is simple. The Tower of Eternity itself has the ability to regulate the elements of law. The 3,000 laws and secrets in the universe are gathered in the Tower of Eternity, including not only the laws of the true God, the laws of the Lord God, but also the laws of the highest level. Even the supreme laws of different attributes and camps are controlled by the Tower of Eternity. How dare you resist the mere elemental magic power? Ion is also very knowledgeable. After entering the magic vortex, it directly ignored Lin Yu's demigod power and the vast ocean-like power of faith, and immediately arrived near the power of creation. Because Lin Yu's realm was too low, the power of creation in his body was too small. The Tower of Eternity does not dare to directly integrate the main body into it. Instead, he stayed near the power of creation and slowly absorbed the matter flowing out from the power of creation. This kind of substance, even for a super artifact like it, is of great benefit. The power of creation is the exclusive power of the Lord of Holy Light. It is said that the power of creation originated from the era of chaos and only appeared when the universe was just opened. This can be inferred. There are only two reasons why the Lord of Holy Light can master the power of creation. Or, as in the legend, the universe was opened by the Lord of Holy Light, and he naturally controls the power of creation. Either it is, the Lord of Holy Light was born together with the chaotic universe. He received the power of creation when the universe opened itself up. No matter what the reason is, the Lord of Holy Light can be said to be the oldest living being in the universe. Even the 12 titans of the ancient Titan clan cannot compare to the Lord of Holy Light. It is indeed an honor for me to be able to become a super artifact of the Lord of Holy Light and serve the Lord of Holy Light. It's also a great opportunity for me to get to the next level. The spiritual wisdom of the Tower of Eternity looked at the origin of the power of creation gathered in the distance like a small pool, and his expression showed excitement and excitement. It does not expect to be able to master the origin of the power of creation like the Lord of Holy Light. It only needs to accept the nourishment from the power of creation. One day in the future, it may break the shackles of a super artifact and be promoted to a true artifact of the universe. The real weapon of the universe is a universe-level equipment. No matter in terms of power or level, they are all above the super artifacts. There is a legend that the source of power of the real weapon in the universe is so huge that it is equivalent to the sum of the entire universe. This shows how powerful the real weapon of the universe is. It is a pity that the real cosmic artifact is only a legendary artifact, and it can even be said to be a figment of living beings, because there has never been a real cosmic artifact in this universe. Of course, this is normal. There are very few super artifacts, let alone a higher level cosmic real weapon. An artifact of this level cannot be built or owned by someone other than the master of the universe. If, in this universe, which artifact has the greatest hope of being promoted to a true instrument of the universe, it must be the Scepter of Origin. Compared to the Origin Scepter, I am indeed a little behind. After all, that guy was born from chaos and naturally bred by the power of the universe. And I was created by the 12 titans. One is an innate treasure, and the other is an acquired treasure. Of course there is a gap. However, this does not mean that I have no chance to catch up with the Origin Scepter. As long as I follow the footsteps of the Lord of Holy Light and continue to accept the nourishment from the source of the power of creation, maybe one day, I will be promoted suddenly. Who can say clearly about such things as fate? The wisdom of Ion is an optimist. Even if it was beaten violently by the Origin Scepter just a minute ago and was expelled from Lin Yu's sea of consciousness without any dignity, it was only angry for a short time. Now, not only is it not angry anymore. On the contrary, it is full of energy. To catch up with the Origin Scepter and beat up this arrogant natural super artifact has become its new goal. If it can succeed, it may directly evolve into a real weapon in the universe. Let you have fun for a while first. When my power surpasses yours, I will also expel you from the sea of consciousness of the Lord of Holy Light. At that time, I will replace you and become the Lord of Holy Light's natal super artifact. In fact, the natal artifact is not the only one. A god can possess multiple natal artifacts. The only requirement is that the soul's origin needs to be cultivated for a long time, so that it can evolve into a natal artifact. The problem now facing the Tower of Eternity is that it cannot even enter Lin Yu's sea of consciousness, let alone accept the essence of Lin Yu's soul, with the overbearing scepter of origin present. Naturally, it cannot become Lin Yu's natal artifact. And this also gave it more determination and belief to overthrow the tyranny of the origin scepter. As a super artifact, it doesn't want to be a younger brother forever. One day it will turn around. Chapter 642 Attacking the Underworld. My lord, how do you feel? Seeing Lin Yu take the unsealed Tower of Eternity into his body, the 18-winged Archangel Angelia quickly asked with concern. Very nice. Lin Yu had a smile on his face. He also saw the battle appearing in the Sea of Consciousness. After witnessing the explosion, the Origin Scepter kicked the Tower of Eternity out of his Sea of Consciousness. This surprised him very much. I didn't expect the Origin Scepter to be so powerful. They are both super divine weapons, and their power is also divided into strong and weak ones. The power of the Origin Scepter is obviously greater than that of the Tower of Eternity. As expected of the Lord of Holy Light, it is a divine weapon of his own. It is awesome. It's a pity that this is the only one. Lin Yu had already asked Angelia earlier and learned that the Lord of Holy Light only had one piece of equipment, which was the Origin Scepter. In fact, with the strength of the Lord of Holy Light, it is not difficult to create a super artifact. After all, even the 12 Titans were created. So what if the Lord of Holy Light can't do it? It can even be said that at the peak of the Lord of Holy Light, he was able to directly use the power of creation to create super artifacts. It's not that he can't do it, it's that he doesn't want to. This ancient existence looked down upon the super artifact created. Only the Origin Scepter, an innate super artifact that gave birth to the chaotic world, can enter the eyes of the Lord of Holy Light. However, innate super artifacts are extremely rare. For countless years, the Lord of Holy Light has also found a scepter of origin. Lin Yu put away his thoughts. He smiled at Angelia and said, I can feel that the Tower of Eternity is already releasing the secret of the original law on its own and integrating it into my body. Even if I don't meditate, I can quickly master the secrets of the law. If nothing else happens, I will soon be able to achieve the great perfection of the 3,000 laws and be promoted to the realm of true God. Congratulations to my lord, congratulations to my lord. Angelia quickly congratulated her. Several other 18-winged archangels in the hall were also excited. They can't wait to see the great Lord of Holy Light return to his peak power. Lin Yu nodded and said, the Tower of Eternity is a spiritual treasure. It is not only useful to me, but also of great help to all of you. After I successfully master the 3,000 laws, I will find a place to put it. For you to go into practice and participate in the secrets of the law. In addition to the 7 18-winged archangels, there are also the sacred and light camps, the supreme goddesses of the natural gods, and even the 10,000 angels of the angel family, and the people of the heavenly kingdom. Etc., etc. Everyone can go in and gain enlightenment. Tower of Eternity has 3,000 floors, each floor has endless independent space. Accommodating Lin Yu's angels, gods, and kingdom people is not a problem at all. Praise be to you, great Lord of Light, Supreme Creator. Angelia and others quickly expressed their gratitude. They are also very happy to be able to enter the Tower of Eternity to practice. Especially Christina and several other 18-winged archangels. When I learned that Angelia's personality was shaken by the power of creation, she had a chance to break through the restrictions of bloodline personality and be promoted to the Holy Angel of Chaos. They couldn't stand still. I desperately want to be like Angelia. Not just to become stronger. At the same time, we must seize the opportunity to be promoted to the Holy Angel of Chaos. This opportunity is to exchange the secret of the original law with the Lord of Holy Light. But if there is no such opportunity for the time being, then it is also a very good choice for them to enter the Tower of Eternity to practice. Although they understand and master the secrets of the law, it is difficult to help them shake their status. It is far less direct than the power of creation. But at least, this kind of practice can also improve their strength. Don't be in a state of stagnation all the time. Lin Yu pondered for a moment. Then he said to Angelia, now that the Tower of Eternity has been obtained, the Titans should also know the details. I think we can mobilize the angel army to the battlefield of all realms and conquer the 4 divine realms. In this battle of conquest, there is no need to kill everyone. As long as they are willing to surrender and embrace the holy light, we will give them a chance to redeem themselves. After all, they are not our real enemies after all. Our enemies are the void demons, the alien forces in the prophecy. If we want to win this war, we still need to unite all the forces that can be united. By your will, my lord. Angelia obeyed respectfully. Here, when Lin Yu looked at the 318-winged fallen archangels, including Victoria, he suddenly thought of something and said, Angelia, do you think the angel family has the ability to conquer the battlefield of all realms? At the same time, attack the underworld. Angelia instantly understood what Lin Yu meant. The Lord of Holy Light wants to grab the remaining half of the underworld and merge it with hell, in order to strengthen the war strength of the fallen angel camp. Secretary and said, this is not difficult, great Lord of Holy Light. Compared with tens of millions of years ago, our angel clan's war strength is many times stronger. As long as the Underworld Emperor and the Spirit of World Law of the Underworld are dealt with, the remaining true gods of the Underworld and the God of Death are nothing to worry about and can be solved easily. After Angelia finished speaking, Quinliza, an 18-winged fallen archangel, even volunteered. She held the blood-red sword of fallen angels, her tall and majestic body knelt down on one knee in the main hall, and said with great fighting spirit, Supreme Creator, I request that the task of attacking the underworld be handed over to our fallen angel camp. The hundreds of millions of warriors in our camp will never let you down. Chapter 643 The Evil Supreme Gods Who Regained Freedom. After the 18-winged fallen archangel Quinliza stood up, Victoria and Astia also knelt on one knee and worshipped in the main hall, asking the Supreme Creator to hand over the task of attacking the underworld to their fallen angel camp. The three fallen archangels have different appearances. A tall and majestic one. A tall and sexy one. A petite and exquisite one. And not just in appearance, there are also obvious differences in the personalities of the three fallen archangels. Quinliza, impulsive and irritable. The whole person is like a powder keg, the kind that will explode at a moment's notice. Victoria is relatively calm. Although her personality is still very straightforward, she also knows how to assess the situation. As for Astia, her personality is extremely reserved. Always in a very calm state. At the same time, she is also the think tank of the fallen angel camp and is good at making suggestions. At this moment, the attitudes of the 318-winged fallen archangels are highly consistent. This is because the task of attacking the underworld is more suitable for their fallen angel camp to complete. All the forces in the 10,000 realms battlefield can be left to the Holy Angel family to deal with. When encountering heretics who would rather die than surrender, the Holy Angel clan can not only give them a ride, but can also use the magic of faith to purify their souls. This is very much in line with the Supreme Creator's strategic approach to dealing with the forces on the battlefields of all realms. It wouldn't work if they were from the fallen angel camp. Besides killing, they can only kill. It is impossible to spread faith for the Supreme Creator like the Holy Angels. Their way of fighting is more suitable for going to the underworld. After all, the creatures in the underworld are basically dead creatures, and it is difficult to spread the faith of the Holy Light. The way to conquer them is to destroy them or forcibly enslave them. After ruling hell for so many years, their fallen angel camp has long mastered various methods of controlling the gods and giant monsters of the underworld. It would not be an exaggeration to say that this is their specialty. The 318-winged fallen archangels took the initiative to ask for help, which was exactly what Lin Yu wanted. He originally planned to send an army of fallen angels to attack the underworld. The only concern is whether the fallen angel camp can successfully capture the underworld. The reason why the angel clan was able to penetrate the underworld back then was because the 418-winged archangels headed by Angelia personally took action and also used a large army of holy angels. In comparison, the camp size of the fallen angel army is definitely not as large as that of the holy angel army. After all, fallen angels are only a small part of the angelic family. Not even 1/10,000th. This war cannot be lost, otherwise the gains outweigh the losses. Lin Yu said to the 318-winged fallen archangels. Victoria said respectfully, Creator, please rest assured. Although the size of my fallen angel army is not comparable to that of the Holy Angel camp, it does have a large number of super hell warriors, hell trolls, and hell battleships. We are confident enough to capture the underworld. Having confidence is a good thing. Lin Yu nodded. After thinking for a moment, he said, in order to ensure that the mission is not lost, I plan to let the army of gods from the evil god system come to help you. After entering the underworld, the army of the evil gods alliance will be under your command. Hear this. The three fallen archangels immediately looked at each other. Without too much hesitation, they quickly said in unison, "Follow your will, Supreme Creator." Lin Yu nodded with satisfaction. Immediately, his mind and consciousness communicated with the Tower of Eternity in his body. A moment later, 3 aurora flew out from Lin Yu's eyebrows, and when they landed on the main hall, they turned into 3 evil supreme gods exuding a terrifying aura. It was the Lich Lord, the Spider Goddess, and the Poison King. When the Dark Goddess Sylvia sealed the Tower of Eternity in the Titan God realm, she also sealed these 3 evil supreme gods. Although just now, the seal of Tower of Eternity was unlocked by Sylvia. But without Lin Yu's permission, the 3 of them were also unable to get out, and became Lin Yu's prisoners in disguise. Lin Yu did not give any face to these 3 evil supreme gods, and directly used the power of the Tower of Eternity to place divine pattern restrictions in the souls of the 3 of them. The function of the divine pattern restriction is to control the 3 of them. Once they do something that makes Lin Yu dissatisfied, he can use the Tower of Eternity to annihilate the souls of the 3 of them in an instant by activating the divine pattern restriction. Something very scary. That is, this divine pattern restriction will not disappear with the annihilation of their divine souls. Instead, it will continue to be attached to their thoughts. In this case, they cannot even achieve resurrection and rebirth with the help of incarnation. Because as long as their thoughts are revived, the souls of their new divine bodies will also be destroyed by the divine pattern restriction. In other words, if they don't want to die completely, then their future destiny will always be in Lin Yu's hands. Unless one day, Lin Yu dies. Or maybe he lost the super artifact Tower of Eternity. They had just had a chance to regain their freedom. But obviously, this is almost impossible. Chapter 644. From now on, I, the Spider Goddess. What do you 3 say? Lin Yu was sitting on the throne of the temple, looking down at the 3 evil supreme gods standing in the hall with pure eyes. This scene is absolutely incredible to the eyes of an uninformed person. After all, Lin Yu is just a demigod. Even the lowest level of the lower godhead has not been condensed. The Lich Lord, the Spider Goddess, and the Poison King are the 3 beings who stand at the pinnacle of the universe, with hundreds of millions of subordinate gods under their command, and they also rule countless extraordinary worlds. The levels are too different. But the reality is so amazing. Lin Yu, as a demigod, could look down on the 3 Lich Lords. This is life. Even facing Lin Yu's downward gaze, the 3 Lich Lords did not dare to show the slightest anger or dissatisfaction, and their expressions were as well behaved as they could be. The reason is simple: they are also afraid of death. Not to mention that Lin Yu controlled their fate of life and death. Just the 718 winged archangels standing in the hall were enough to make their hearts tremble. Being stared at by the 718 winged archangels of the angel clan. Even if they have great courage, they don't dare to act recklessly. After hearing what Lin Yu said, the enchanting Spider Goddess, who transformed into a human form, was the first to kneel down in the hall, revealing her sexy and perfect curves. She said with great respect, "From now on, I, the Spider Goddess Sabaros, will swear allegiance to the great Lord of Holy Light until the eternity of time." Just vote. The Lich Lord and the Poison King did not dare to neglect. They all knelt down and expressed their loyalty to Lin Yu. Very good. Lin Yu nodded with satisfaction. The next moment, 3 golden lights flew out from Lin Yu's eyebrows and instantly penetrated into the bodies of the 3 Lich Lords. Since then, these 3 supreme gods of the evil pantheon have also become Lin Yu's gods. Like the supreme goddesses of the natural pantheon, they will give half of every piece of faith power they gain in the future as tribute to Lin Yu. This is how the god of faith treats you. To be honest, throughout the battlefield of all realms, there is no god of faith who can make the supreme god his subordinate god. Even Heloise, the goddess of nature and spirits, is the same. Although Heloise has always ruled the natural pantheon, the supreme goddesses in the natural pantheon do not have a relationship with her as a god of faith or as a god. Generally speaking, there is equal status. At special times, Heloise is the main one. But a divine relationship never existed. Otherwise, it would be impossible for the god of the sky to easily betray the natural god system, and even the forces under his command would have moved to the Titan god realm. If the god of the sky was Heloise's god, how could he be so bold? Lin Yu has continuously included the supreme goddess of nature and these evil supreme gods as gods, which can be said to be very awesome. The Titan god King Clovis has always had this dream, wanting all the supreme gods in the Titan god realm to become his gods, but he has never succeeded. It can only be said that the gap between people is still very big. Lin Yu said, The three of you, as well as the dark goddess Sylvia, the cursed goddess Cleedle, and the supreme god of the alien beasts Gladstone, will lead your army of gods and follow the army of fallen angels. Let's go attack the underworld together. After entering the underworld, all matters must be obeyed by the three fallen archangels. There must be no violation at all. Follow your will, great Lord of Holy Light. The three Lich Lords, as well as the dark goddess Sylvia, who was also in the hall, respectfully obeyed the order. At the same time, Lin Yu's oracle was also conveyed to the cursed goddess Claytel, who had not entered the temple, and to the supreme god of the alien beasts, Gladstone. Naturally, they responded immediately. The goddess of fate and goddess of luck, who are trinity with the goddess of curse Cleedle, also knew about Lin Yu's plan to conquer the underworld. The goddess of luck, Helen Green, whispered, "Sister, as you expected, half of the underworld that was snatched away by the angel clan has been sealed in the angel world for tens of millions of years. The appearance of those fallen angels is most likely related to this half of the underworld. My lord is sending an army to capture the underworld this time. Apparently, he wants the two halves of the underworld to merge again and become the base camp of the fallen angel clan." Goddess of Destiny Olivia nodded. She said, "The Lord of Holy Light in this life is filled with the desire to war and conquer everything. He has almost the same personality as the Lord of Holy Light back then. But that doesn't matter. As long as the Lord of Holy Light in this life can achieve transcendence and become the Lord of the universe. This is what I want to see too." The goddess of luck, Helen Green, said, "Back then, the Lord of Holy Light gave us the secret technique of the Trinity, and personally helped us split our souls and realize the perfect clone. Your Majesty, the Lord of Holy Light, is our guide. No matter how high the price is, we must help the Lord of Holy Light successfully escape. But then again, when the Lord of Holy Light helped us, he might have had a glimpse of everything in this era. Whether it is us, the Tower of Eternity, or those fallen angels, they may all be under the crown of the Lord of Holy Light's transcendent plan. Among them, quote, Olivia, the goddess of fate, frowned and said, "Don't say anything you shouldn't." Lady Luck suddenly fell silent. Chapter 645. You belong to God, and I serve God. Under Lin Yu's gesture, the three Lich monarchs and the dark goddess Sylvia respectfully exited the temple. They have to go back to the base camp of the evil god alliance first. To win over those evil gods who have lost their god of faith. For example, the evil gods of the killing pantheon, the destructive pantheon, and the undead pantheon. With the complete fall of the god king of killing, the god king of destruction, and the lord of the undead, all these evil gods under their command became free. The Lich Lord and others want to gather these evil gods. Even if they cannot gain their faith, they must lower their heads and serve the Lord of Holy Light. If they would rather die than obey, then just send them to death. As the supreme gods of the evil camp, the Lich Lord and others have never known what kindness and compassion are. After staying away from the territory of the Wolf God clan, the eyes of the three Lich sovereigns fell on the dark goddess Sylvia. In their view, they had simply suffered an unreasonable disaster. They originally happily entered the Tower of Eternity to understand the secrets of various laws, but in the blink of an eye, the Tower of Eternity was robbed, and they also became subordinates of the Lord of Holy Light, prisoner. In the end, he had to face reality and become a god of the Lord of Holy Light. They feel they have been wronged. Very unlucky too. But in the final analysis, the reason why they ended up like this is because of the dark goddess Sylvia. Just like what the Titan god King Clovis said, if it weren't for the sudden betrayal of the dark goddess Sylvia and the sudden sealing of the Tower of Eternity, there would be nothing that happened next. Watch what I do. The dark goddess Sylvia said expressionlessly. I helped you gain a new life and gave you the opportunity to embrace the light. If it weren't for me, you would all have died in the hands of those 18-winged archangels sooner or later. Hear this. The Lich Lord and others suddenly had black lines on their foreheads. According to this, don't they have to thank the dark goddess Sylvia? They were angry and helpless. After all, this is already the case, what else can they say? In other words, what can be done? Do they still dare to besiege the dark goddess together? It was obvious that the dark goddess Sylvia had defected to the Holy and Light camp early, which was a move by the Lord of Holy Light and gained the attention of the Lord of Holy Light. Now, the dark goddess Sylvia has brought back the super artifact, the Tower of Eternity, for the Lord of Holy Light. Her status in the heart of the Lord of Holy Light is even more extraordinary. If they dare to join forces to besiege the dark goddess Sylvia, they may be directly suppressed by the Lord of Holy Light, and even their souls will be completely annihilated. Just at this time, The dark goddess Sylvia raised her head slightly and said with a hint of pride, "You must not know what happened in the temple before. I might as well tell you that I am not just the crown prince of the Lord of Holy Light. He is a god and can serve beside the Lord of Holy Light." Hear this. The three lich lords suddenly looked shocked. The status of serving God is far greater than that of belonging to God. To put it bluntly, the three of them together may not be able to equal a dark goddess. Thinking of this, they were immediately glad that they hadn't been in a hurry just now. Otherwise, they might have been killed by the Lord of Holy Light now. The Poison King quickly said, "It turns out to be Your Highness Sylvia. What happened in the past has passed. Now we are loyal to the great Lord of Holy Light, and we are members of the Evil God System Alliance. I hope Your Highness will take care of me." Bird food, bird food. The Lich Lord and Spider Goddess also immediately agreed. They knew that they would need to be led by the Dark Goddess Sylvia in the future. And we must work together as a team. After all, they are the supreme gods of the evil camp. Even if they become the gods of the Lord of Holy Light, there is a high chance that they will not be favored by the Angel Clan and the Holy and Light camp. If they want not to be marginalized, they must unite and make more and greater contributions. Sylvia, who is the servant of the Lord of Holy Light, is the best person to lead them into the future. Anyway, neither the Lich Lord, nor the Poison King, nor the Spider Goddess had the courage to take the lead in front of a group of 18-winged archangels. Although the Dark Goddess Sylvia is much worse than the 18-winged archangel, she at least has more right to speak than them. If they don't rely on Sylvia, who can they rely on? The Dark Goddess Sylvia said, "As long as you serve my lord wholeheartedly, you can gain a foothold under my lord even if you don't rely on anyone else. Of course, it would be even better if we could back up those 3 18-winged fallen archangels." Hearing this, the eyes of the three Lich Lords suddenly lit up. They almost forgot that the 3 18-winged fallen archangels also belonged to their evil camp. The Lich Lord immediately said to the Dark Goddess, "This attack on the underworld is a good opportunity for us to get closer to the 3 fallen archangels. If nothing else, my lord also wants us to follow the 3 fallen archangels." Quote. Dark Goddess Sylvia nodded. "This time, our Evil God Alliance must perform well. Do your best to help the fallen angel army conquer the underworld." Good. The 3 Lich Lords all agreed. Immediately, they quickly headed to the base camp of the Evil God Alliance to recruit troops. Chapter 646 The Headquarters of the Evil God Alliance. The Evil God Alliance is a very large force. It can even be said that the power is greater than that of the Titan God system. This is because the Evil God System Alliance is composed of evil god systems from all realms in the universe. Among them, there are not only the direct forces of the dozen evil supreme gods, but also the evil forces of other, free gods, joining in. These, free gods, are either main gods or superior gods who possess powerful divine power. There are even weak lower gods. They are an independent system and do not submit their faith to a group of evil supreme gods. However, they still belong to the Evil Pantheon Alliance. When the Evil Pantheon Alliance and other Pantheon forces start a Camp God War, they will also follow the oracles of a group of evil supreme gods and participate in the Camp God War. As of now, there are only 5 evil supreme gods left in the Evil Pantheon. They are the Dark Goddess Sylvia, the Curse Goddess Claytel, the Lich Lord, the Poison King, and the Spider Goddess Sabaros, who created the human-faced Spider Clan. These 5 evil supreme gods are the leaders of the Evil Pantheon Alliance today. Leaving aside the Curse Goddess Claytel, the 4 Lich Monarchs returned to the headquarters of the Evil God Alliance, this time in order to coordinate all the forces of the entire Evil Alliance. If it succeeds, then the war strength that Lin Yu can use will rise to another level. We want to unite all the forces of the Alliance. And we must tell them very clearly that our Evil God System Alliance will be loyal to the Great Lord of Holy Light and obey the orders of the 3 18-winged fallen archangels. Destroy all those divine forces that are unwilling to join us. I don't want to see the alliance of evil gods under our rule, and there will be evil gods who dare to stand up and hate the Holy Light in the future. Hear the words of the Dark Goddess Sylvia. The Lich Lord and others all nodded in agreement. Now, they have all become gods under the command of the Lord of Holy Light. As long as there are evil gods who oppose the Holy and Light camp, or even start a divine war, how will the great Lord of Holy Light view them? Is it because they have different intentions, or do they think they are incompetent and disadvantageous? No matter what kind of attitude they have, they will get no good fruit from it. Therefore, they must completely rule the entire evil god system this time. Let there be only one voice in the entire alliance. Soon, the Lich Lord and others entered the base camp of the Evil God Alliance. This is a vast and boundless world of gods. It was created by the natal divine realm of an evil supreme god who had fallen in ancient times, and its administrators were these evil supreme gods. Looking around, there are all kinds of giant cities everywhere in the god realm. There are also countless mountains of corpses and seas of blood. Even there are countless islands of bones floating in the sky. People can tell at a glance that this world belongs to the evil camp. The entire divine world is divided into 13 regions, each ruled by the 13 supreme gods of the evil divine alliance. Of course, this was before. Now, the dark goddess Sylvia, the Lich Lord and others plan to integrate the 13 regions into one, and there will no longer be divisions between divine forces. This allows them to better control the entire evil camp. The dark goddess Sylvia said to the Lich Lord and others, "Open the super-dimensional transmission channel, sound the horn of war, and summon all the god-level evil creatures from all over the universe. Tell them, whoever refuses the call of war will be the enemy of our entire evil god system alliance. No matter who he is, no matter where he is hiding, even if he escapes to the border of the universe, the alliance will catch him and kill him." The words paused slightly. The dark goddess Sylvia continued, "Time waits for no one. We must solve the alliance's affairs as quickly as possible, and then dispatch the army to join the 3 fallen archangels. This attack on the underworld is also the starting point for our evil god alliance to take off. The underworld is the destination of the dead. In this extraordinary world at the top of the universe, the source of evil power is everywhere, and it is filled with countless evil materials at the level of gods. The underworld belongs to the Lord of Holy Light and the fallen angel camp. But come to think of it, the 318-winged fallen archangels will not restrict us from collecting those origin crystals and god-level evil materials. Whether we can make a lot of money in this war depends on whether our alliance army can perform well enough in this war. My Lord is loving and merciful. As someone who belongs to God and serves the Lord, your efforts must be rewarded. Your Highness, don't worry." The 3 Lich Lords quickly said, "We will definitely try our best to help the 3 fallen archangels and the army of fallen angels successfully conquer the underworld." Dark goddess Sylvia nodded. Although she looked cold, her mood was not calm. Because, the 3 Lich Lords are on the same level as her, but now they are respectful and don't dare to show any slights when facing her. This feeling is great. Sure enough, it was the most correct thing for her to give up the reward of the supreme artifact and choose to become the servant of the Lord of Holy Light. Soon after, a vast horn sounded in the base camp of the Evil God Alliance. Then it quickly spread throughout the universe. Soon there were dense crowds of figures gathering from all realms of the universe into the base camp. From the main god to the lower gods. Trillions. Chapter 647. The angel army finally arrived. Just when the Evil God Alliance army was gathering. Located deep in the void, an army of angels as vast as the ocean flew out of the supergiant black hole. The supergiant black hole leads directly to the realm of angels and gods. It is a terrifying device researched and manufactured by the 18-winged fallen archangel Astia, which forcibly penetrates the dimension and forms a very stable channel. And this is a two-way street. Not only can the angel army follow the supergiant black hole to the void world where the battlefield of all realms is located, but other creatures can also follow the black hole directly to the angel god realm behind it. Of course, with the passage right in front of you, whether you have the courage to enter the angel realm is another matter. It can be said that even the supreme gods in the battlefield of all realms do not dare to enter the realm of angels and gods rashly. The reason is simple. The angel god realm is the headquarters of the angel clan. It is also the world created by the Lord of Holy Light at his peak. No one knows how strong the defensive power of the angel god realm is. But come to think of it, even if the supreme god breaks in forcefully, there is a chance that he will be killed. Today, the Lord of Holy Light returns, and the 718-winged archangels of the angel clan are sitting on the battlefield of all realms. Later, there are the supreme gods of the sacred and light camps, as well as the natural gods and evil gods, who obey the orders. Who dares to touch the tiger's butt at this time? The first thing to emerge from the supergiant black hole is naturally the army of holy angels. Starting with large angel cities, they were followed by countless medium-sized angel cities and small angel cities. In every city of angels, there is a full-scale army of angels gathered. This is the iconic image of the arrival of the army of holy angels. In the era of the holy demon war tens of millions of years ago, such a scene had shocked the entire battlefield of all realms, and even countless extraordinary worlds. Now, the scene reappears. The battlefield of all realms and countless extraordinary worlds in the universe will surely be shaken again. After an unknown amount of time passed, there was finally no more angel city flying out of the supergiant black hole, and what followed was an army of fully armed angels. These angel armies also belong to the Holy Angel Camp. The difference is that they are all special angel legions, such as the Angel of Love, the Angel of Peace, the Angel of Paradise, the Angel of Victory, the Angel of War, the Guardian Angel, the Craftsman Angel, the Angel of Light, the Angel of Holy Punishment, and so on. All the special angels that Lin Yu had not summoned before appeared now. There is one kind. No special angel of any kind is absent. The most terrifying thing is that their number is also unbelievable. The total scale is at least more than 10 trillion. Of course, this is normal. After all, the entire angel clan has an angel army of tens of trillions. In fact, 10,000 trillion is just a function word. Even Angelia, who governs the angel god realm, doesn't know exactly how many angels there are, because in the angel god realm, a large number of angels are born from the angel reincarnation pool every moment. Just looking at the proportion of special angels being born. For such a large camp of holy angels, it is not an exaggeration to have 10 trillion special angels. In addition, these special angels who emerged from the supergiant black hole are all in their peak adult state and possess god-level power. Because special angels have 6 wings at the lowest level. The limit of the growth potential of seraphim is the lower level true God. So these special angels appearing now are all gods. Among them, the most powerful special angel has reached the level of the peak god and possesses 16 angel wings, and there are quite a few of them. In fact, after tens of millions of years of continuous development, the angel family not only gave birth to an astonishing number of angels, but also gave birth to a large number of high-ranking angels. The number of 12-winged seraphs, constellations, cherubim, 14-winged angels, and even 16-winged archangels in the 3rd level can be said to have increased exponentially. Although there is no new 18-winged archangel born. But the overall war strength of the angel clan has still expanded many times. If this cosmic war is still the same as the holy demon war tens of millions of years ago, then the holy angel clan alone will be enough to defeat the void demon clan until their parents don't recognize them. It is undeniable that after tens of millions of years, the strength of the void demon clan has definitely increased. But no matter how much it increases, where can it go? After all, the void demon clan was the defeated party back then. Not to mention that the void demon emperor was almost killed by the Lord of Holy Light. The strength of the void demon clan alone had been severely damaged, and countless demon elites had been killed. Of course, the strength of the void demon clan is definitely not as fast as that of the angel clan. After the army of the holy angel camp arrived, the army of the fallen angel camp followed suit and flew out of the supergiant black hole. The first ones to arrive were still the huge cities of angels. The difference is that these angel cities have been transformed by fallen angels. They are blood red and exude an extremely evil atmosphere. Immediately afterwards, there were countless super hell warriors, hell trolls, and hell warships of various sizes. That scene was as shocking as it could possibly be. Chapter 648. The word cruelty is not enough to describe the angel family. What are those? Is it a fallen angel magnified 100 times, 1,000 times, or even 10,000 times? How come I've never seen it before? Speak like you've seen a fallen angel before. In another void, majestic figures gathered together. Every figure exudes the terrifying aura of the supreme god. They are supreme gods from other factions. During this period of time, I have been staying near the supergiant black hole, trying to peek into the angelic and divine realm behind the black hole. They didn't dare to be enemies with the angel clan, but that didn't mean they didn't have the guts to come over and check out the information about the angel clan. At this moment, the eyes of these supreme gods are falling on those super hell warriors. For them, the super hell warriors created by the fallen angel camp were a new thing and the first time they saw them. The size of the super hell warriors represents their personality and strength. The more powerful the super hell warrior is, the larger it becomes. A super hell warrior at the peak of the main god level, his body is tens of thousands of meters high, and he also has 16 huge fallen angel wings on his back. They are like infinitely enlarged versions of the 16-winged fallen archangels. But in terms of strength, at the same level, the combat effectiveness of super hell warriors is generally much stronger than that of fallen angels. After all, they are created specifically for war. Unfortunately, the maximum number of Super Hell soldiers is only 16 wings. The combat power can be said to be invincible to the peak Lord God. As for the Super Hell warriors at the Supreme God level, the fallen angel camp has not yet been able to create them. This is because the 18-winged fallen archangel Astia was unable to create the Heart of Gaia, the energy core that can drive the Supreme God level Super Hell warrior. When I was in the floating island world before, Victoria told Lin Yu about the information about the Heart of Gaia. Only Lin Yu's power of creation can create an energy core of this level. Of course not now. It was when Lin Yu mastered the peak power of the Lord of Holy Light. The Lord of Holy Light at his peak was able to create even more powerful holy angels of chaos, and it was naturally not a problem to create the Heart of Gaia at the level of the Supreme God. And once you have the Heart of Gaia, then the fallen angel camp can create super hell warriors that are comparable to the Supreme Gods. Are those starships? Since when did the Angel Clan start playing with technology? That is not a simple interstellar battleship, but a product that combines extraordinary power and technological power. Its war strength is more powerful than an interstellar battleship in the orthodox sense of scientific and technological civilization. Fallen angels are different from holy angels. They have obviously embarked on another path of cultivation. I only care about where those underworld monsters came from. Aren't they underworld creatures? How did they get together with those fallen angels? Could it be that the underworld and the angel clan have joined forces? Joined forces? A supreme god sneered and said, based on the arrogance of the angel clan, do you think they will join forces with the underworld? It would be great if those evil creatures from the land of the dead are not killed by the angel clan. Some supreme gods retorted, but obviously, they have not been killed now. Killing and enslaving basically mean the same thing. Quote. Just at this time, another supreme god whose whole body was burning with black flames said, I seem to know a thing or two about those giant monsters in the underworld. Many years ago, I once visited the underworld. But I found that the origin of the world's laws in the underworld has plummeted. After some investigation, I found out that as early as tens of millions of years ago, shortly after the end of the Holy Demon War, the Angel Clan had invaded the underworld on a large scale. Several 18-winged archangels headed by Angelia even cut the underworld in half. Half of the underworld was forcibly sealed and taken away by them. If nothing else, those underworld monsters come from the half of the underworld that was taken away. They were once the super intelligent top race in the underworld, but now they have become pet beasts enslaved by those fallen angels. It can only be said that the angel race is the most evil race in the universe. None of them. Hear these words. The supreme gods present were all shocked. They did not expect that the angel clan would be so cruel and cut the underworld in two. You know, the underworld is the most special extraordinary world in the universe. It is related to almost all worlds in the universe. Whenever a living being dies, its soul will be summoned by the underworld. If there are no special circumstances, the underworld will be the final destination of the dead. And once something goes wrong in the underworld, it will also affect countless worlds in the universe, and it is not impossible to cause chaos in the order of the entire universe. It's totally conceivable. If there were no underworld, what would the universe be like if it were disastered by the dead? Therefore, in order to prevent this kind of thing from happening, even the Universal Avenue is paying special attention to the underworld, and even protecting the underworld from problems. But it is such a world that is so important to the real universe. He was actually cut in half by the Angel Clan. Even snatched half of them. Simply using the word cruelty can no longer describe the Angel family. Chapter 649. It's just that those two sisters are too insidious. Compared to back then, today's Angel Clan has an even stronger desire for war and conquest. Not long after they returned to the battlefield of all realms, they couldn't wait to send their army here in an attempt to conquer everything in the battlefield of all realms. Deep in the void, a supreme god with the appearance of a human woman said with a solemn expression. Her appearance is not impeccably beautiful, it can only be said to be average. But her eyes revealed something strange. It seems that there is a magical magic that can attract or even devour the souls of living beings. After hearing her words, another supreme god with thousands of giant hands all over his body said, this is because the character of the Lord of Holy Light has changed. The Lord of Holy Light back then didn't care about these things and didn't care whether he ruled the universe or not. But the current Lord of Holy Light, after his reincarnation, he was filled with an extremely strong desire for war. I just found out that before entering the War of All Realms, the reincarnation of the Lord of Holy Light had been staying in the floating island world and conquered one floating island world after another as a human lord. There was even a spirit of law in the floating island world that he killed, and his origin was collected for the spirit of law in his world to devour. The Lord of Holy Light could not have done this kind of thing back then. Well, another supreme god sighed and said, such a big change in the character of the Lord of Holy Light is not good news for us. You're talking nonsense. The supreme god with giant hands on his body said with a gloomy look, what happened during this period does not seem to have affected us, but this is just the beginning. The evil divine alliance has been defeated and disabled by the angel clan and the holy and light camp. Even the Titan clan and the ancient divine system suffered. I just received the message not long ago that the 718 winged archangels of the angel clan joined forces to enter the Titan god realm. In the process, they not only killed many supreme gods of the ancient gods and dragon gods, but also finally he also stole the Titan clan's super artifact, the Tower of Eternity. How can this be? A supreme god exclaimed. Isn't the super artifact Tower of Eternity a clan treasure passed down to the Titan clan by the 12 Titan gods? With its guardianship, how could the 18-winged archangel of the angel clan easily escape? Entered the Titan realm. The reason is that the Titan god King Clovis is too stupid. The supreme god with giant hands on his body said, in order to bring the evil god alliance under his control, he enthusiastically invited those evil supreme gods into the Titan god realm and opened the Tower of Eternity for them. As a result, I fell into the trap of the angel clan and the holy and light camp. The dark goddess Sylvia has always been on the side of the angel clan. After entering the Tower of Eternity, she used some shocking means to successfully seal the power of the Tower of Eternity. Because of this, the 718 winged archangels of the angel clan were able to march straight into the Titan god realm. The Titan family has suffered too great a loss. They themselves are no match for the angel clan. Now that they don't have the super artifact, the Tower of Eternity, to rely on, they will be even more defeated by the mighty angel army. After listening, all the supreme gods present were speechless. None of them expected that a super artifact that was at the pinnacle of the universe could be snatched away so easily, which made them feel incredible. You know, most of them have never even seen what the Tower of Eternity looks like. It's better now, it will be snatched away directly. Clovis is so stupid. How can he still have the face to face the billions of titans who are loyal to him and worship him in the Titan god realm now? If it were me, I would be so ashamed that I would step down from the throne of the Titan god king. It's really too careless for the clan's treasure to fall into the hands of others so easily. It's not entirely Clovis' fault. One of the supreme gods shook his head and said, who would have thought that the dark goddess Sylvia would hide so deeply? You have to know that tens of millions of years ago, before the war between the holy demon and the holy demon came, she was already on the same level as the holy and light camp. Over the years, the dark god system and the light god system have started countless divine wars. Thousands of them have been destroyed in the extraordinary world. The fallen gods and believers are as numerous as the stars in the sky. Even outsiders like us would not doubt that Sylvia, the goddess of darkness, and Annabelle, the goddess of light, are acting. After all, how can anyone sing opera for tens of millions of years? I can only say that these two sisters are too insidious. As for Clovis, he was unlucky. I'm not sure, he has been targeted by these two sisters, or the angel family, tens of millions of years ago. He has been setting up a stage for so many years just to plot his Tower of Eternity. Chapter 650 This is a sign of war. Hear the words. All the supreme gods shuddered involuntarily. This kind of thing, which has been calculated for tens of millions of years, makes them feel cold sweat just thinking about it. Although gods are said to have eternal life, a conspiracy that has been planned for tens of millions of years is still insidious enough, not to mention that countless lives were sacrificed in order for the plan to succeed. Put yourself in their shoes. If they were the Titan god King Clovis, they would most likely be fooled. A supreme god said, I just received a message that whether it is the Titan god realm, the Dragon god realm, or the base camp of the ancient divine system, they have all entered a state of lockdown. In a short period of time, I'm afraid they won't appear on the battlefield of all realms again. This is a disguised form of bowing to the angel clan. Another supreme god said with an ugly face, without the Titan clan and the ancient gods camp in front, how can we withstand the angel clan's attack? Are we going to surrender without a fight? Perhaps. This is the only way to save your life. The supreme god who looked like a human woman rubbed her forehead and said, "It has been less than 10 days since the Lord of Holy Light and the angel clan returned to the battlefield of all realms. Think about it, how many supreme gods have already fallen? I won't talk about the ancient divine system camp. The 18-winged archangel Angelia showed mercy to them and did not use the sword of destiny to kill them completely. The evil god alliance is miserable enough. A total of 8 supreme gods have fallen, and all of them have been killed. They who have lost their true spirits cannot be resurrected even if they want to. This is too cruel. To be honest, I don't want to experience the same fate as them. If it really comes to a life and death moment, or when I am unable to resist, I will directly choose to surrender and embrace the holy light. Compared with eternal annihilation, becoming a god of the Lord of the Holy Light is not an unacceptable thing." Upon hearing this, all the supreme gods present fell into collective silence. No one stood up to refute it. For example, mocking the weakness and fear of death of this female supreme god. Because they themselves are similar. They, the supreme gods, have practiced for countless thousands of years before they realize their dream of standing at the pinnacle of the universe. They can get whatever they want, so how can anyone rush to die? A supreme god sighed and said, "Take a step and see what happens. If there is really no other choice, then surrender." The Lord of Holy Light is a great being at the cosmic level. At his peak, he overlooked the entire universe. It is not a shame to bow your head to such a being. It's even possible. Being a godly Lord of Holy Light can also open doors to higher places for us. After all, we've reached the end. Only a great being like the Lord of Holy Light has the ability to guide us on a new path. Bird food. Some of the supreme gods nodded in agreement. Just at this time, the supreme god with giant hands all over his body suddenly changed his expression. His expression was filled with astonishment, and he said, "Something big is going to happen." What happened? All the supreme gods cast their gaze over. The supreme god with giant hands said, "I have received reliable information that the evil god alliance is gathering an army of gods. The sound of war horns has spread throughout the universe, and countless gods from the evil camp have received the summons. Billions of gods have gathered at the headquarters of the evil god alliance. This is a sign of war." "A war? What kind of war?" One of the supreme gods was surprised and asked, "Could it be that the top leaders of the evil god alliance cannot accept the previous losses and are so heartbroken that they are ready to fight to the death with the angel clan?" "No," the supreme god with giant hands said with a solemn expression. "The ones who sound the war horn are the dark goddess, the lich lord and several other evil supreme gods. The dark goddess Sylvia is the Lord of Light. The lich lord and others were imprisoned in the Tower of Eternity because they were implicated. Now that they can reappear in the world, you can imagine what this means. They surrendered to the angel clan and became gods of the Lord of Holy Light. The supreme god took over. This is inevitable." The supreme god with giant hands nodded and said, "In other words, the current evil god alliance is a force that relies on the Lord of Holy Light and the angel clan. They gathered the army of gods, obviously to help the angel clan conquer the entire battlefield of the world. The situation we have to face is getting more serious." The supreme gods kept sucking in the cold air. Originally, the return of the angel clan was enough to give them a headache. Now, in the blink of an eye, their big brother, Titan clan and the ancient gods camp were severely damaged. The angel clan also conquered the natural god system and the evil god system alliance. You must know that whether it is the natural god system or the evil god system alliance, they are super forces on the battlefield of all realms. Plus a holy and light camp. The war power in the hands of the angel clan is even more terrifying. Think of this. As the supreme gods, they seem to lack the courage to resist. The angel clan, plus 3 superpowers. How the hell can you beat this? Chapter 651. Otherwise, we can simply surrender. Just speaking of the divine realm. The 10,000 realms battlefield has tens of thousands of divine realms, large and small. However, only 9 of them are considered large-scale divine realms. The Holy and Light camp occupies the Holy Light divine realm. A group of supreme gods headed by the goddess of nature and elves rule the natural god realm. There are 2 divine realms controlled by the evil god alliance, namely Chaos God Realm and Destruction God Realm, headed by the God King of Destruction. The reason why Gladstone, the supreme god of the alien beasts, is in the Chaos God Realm is purely an accident. According to normal circumstances, his territory should be in the Wild God Realm. That is the base camp of the orcs. Of course, it doesn't matter. The important thing is that after subduing the alliance of the natural god system and the evil god system, the angel clan is equivalent to ruling the holy light god realm, natural god realm, chaos god realm, and destruction god realm. Although there are still resistors in these four divine realms, they must only be a minority. Just send in the army to clean it up a bit. Generally speaking, it is a certainty that the angel clan will rule the four major divine realms. 4 of the 9 divine realms are ruled by the angel clan. How terrible is this? Looking at the entire battlefield of all realms, there is only one race that rules 2 large divine realms, and that is the Titan clan. The angel clan occupies 4. This is definitely information that is enough to shock all living beings on the battlefield of all realms. Going deeper, it seems that the angel clan is not far away from conquering the entire battlefield of all realms. Otherwise, we can just surrender. Even a supreme god like the Lich Lord who has a higher vision and is in the evil camp can embrace the holy light. What psychological burden do we still have? If you surrender to the angel clan, you won't have to worry about being surrounded and suppressed by the 718 winged archangels in the future. That makes sense. Many supreme gods present nodded in agreement. They have absolute reason to believe that since the Lord of Holy Light, whose personality has changed drastically, can accept the Lich Lord and several other supreme gods from the evil camp, he will definitely accept them as well. As the same supreme gods, they are not evil heretics. There is no reason for the Lord of Holy Light to shut them out. As long as they are willing to surrender, they will no longer have to worry about it in the future. And the sooner you surrender, you might be able to achieve great success and gain the favor and special attention of the Lord of Holy Light. When the Lord of Holy Light returns to his peak power, he can give them some casual guidance and they will be of infinite benefit. Thinking of this, all the supreme gods began to feel excited. The more they thought about it, the more they felt that the advantages of surrender far outweighed the disadvantages. If you don't surrender, you will suffer sooner or later. At this time, the supreme god with giant hands suddenly spoke and said, "There is new news coming. The Dark Goddess, the Lich Lord and others are carrying out a large-scale purge of the evil Pantheon Alliance. Same as the message I got before. They have surrendered to the Holy Light camp and become gods of the Lord of Holy Light. Now, they are calling on all the billions of gods in the evil Pantheon of gods to join the Holy Light camp. Anyone who refuses will be killed by them. As expected of the supreme god of the evil camp. They also forcibly placed restrictions on the souls of the main gods and superior gods. Once they lower their heads at this time, these evil gods will no longer have the possibility of rebellion." A supreme god asked, "Besides these, is there any other message?" Hearing this, the supreme god with giant hands replied, "There is another important message. The evil god system alliance gathered the army of gods not to help the angel clan conquer the battlefields of all realms, but to obey the Lord of Holy Light. Will follow the army of fallen angels to attack the underworld." Attack the underworld. All the supreme gods were stunned. They just learned that the angel clan had invaded the underworld tens of millions of years ago, and even cut the underworld in two and sealed away half of the underworld. As a result, now, the angel clan has actually set its sights on the underworld again. It's like those angels always love to have trouble with the underworld. Originally, after the underworld was cut in half, the origin of the world was seriously injured, and it has not recovered until now. Now it has to face another invasion from the angel clan. This is really, it's 8 lifetimes of bad luck. The supreme god who looked like a human woman said with twitching lips, "When the angel clan invades the underworld this time, isn't it because they want to seal away the remaining half of the underworld? Based on the style of the angel clan, it is really possible for them to do this." A supreme god said, "Those angels who claim to be beautiful and kind are extremely arrogant. Except for the Lord of Holy Light whom they believe in, no one is taken seriously by them. Even if the underworld is destroyed and the order of the universe is disrupted, they may not care. After all, they still have the Lord of Holy Light to back them up. When the Lord of Holy Light regains his peak power, this will be a minor problem." Hear these words. The supreme gods present were suddenly silent. Facing such a powerful racial force as the angels, even the supreme gods like them can't help but feel powerless. Now, they even hope that the Void Demon clan will invade this cosmic world again. Because then, they no longer have to worry about whether to surrender or go against the angel clan. Chapter 652 Clovis, you mistaken me. Titan Realm. A figure stood silently on the top of a certain sacred mountain. In front of this figure is a ruins hundreds of millions of kilometers in diameter. Everything in the ruins, including the towering Titan city, the sacred mountain hundreds of thousands of meters high, and the vast ocean, etc., all disappeared without a trace. As for the living beings, they died cleanly. Even the Titan gods who wielded great divine power have all fallen. Only those indestructible gods bear witness that they once existed in this area. This ruined area is the battle area between the Titan god King Clovis and the Storm Titan King Bradley and the 18-winged Archangel Angelia. Although it was just a simple collision once or twice. But it instantly destroyed everything within hundreds of millions of kilometers. Such is the destructive power of the supreme deity. This is in the Titan god realm protected by the spirit of the world's laws. If it were the vast starry sky of the universe, what would be left behind would not be billions of kilometers of ruins, but starry sky smoke and dust that would be counted in light years. It's like a galaxy with a diameter of 100,000 light years. The supreme god can turn it into ashes with a single poke of his finger. This time it's really fetching water from a bamboo basket is all in vain. The figure on the sacred mountain showed a wry smile. There is a helplessness and bitterness that cannot be described in words. And he was none other than the supreme god who once belonged to the natural god system, Fox, the god of the sky. At first, he rejected the suggestion of Heloise, the goddess of nature and elves, and was unwilling to join the camp of holiness and light and become a god of the Lord of Holy Light. There are two reasons. First, he doesn't want to be inferior to others. He has more ambitious goals and dreams. Secondly, the Titan god King Clovis promised him that he would open the Tower of Eternity for him. As long as he surrenders to the Titan god system, he can enter the Tower of Eternity at any time to comprehend the mysteries of the supreme law. But what's the result? He hasn't had time to enter the Tower of Eternity yet. The 7 18-winged archangels of the angel clan forced their way into the Titan god realm and snatched away the Tower of Eternity. Where does this leave him to reason? If he had known this was the case, he should have followed the supreme goddesses of the natural gods and joined the camp of holiness and light. Although it is said that this will lead to him becoming a god of the Lord of Holy Light. But at least, he has the opportunity to enter the Tower of Eternity to understand the secrets of the law. Now, let alone entering the Tower of Eternity, he can't even return to the natural system. After all, in the eyes of Heloise, the goddess of nature and elves, he must have been regarded as a betrayer. If he dares to return to the natural god realm now, there is a high chance that it will be regarded as an invasion. The supreme goddesses, headed by the goddesses of nature and elves, might just chop him to death. Clovis, you made a mistake. Sky god Fox whispered through gritted teeth. He placed all the blame on the Titan King Clovis. Because he felt that if it weren't for the Titan god King Clovis's repeated inducements and various benefits to him over the years, he would not have left the natural god system so simply. If he didn't break away from the natural god system, how could he be in the trouble he is experiencing now? Clovis hurt me so much, and I deserve to end up like this. Thinking that Clovis had lost his identity as Titan God King and was under house arrest in the Thunder Spirit Holy Land, Sky God Fox felt much better. To him, the end of the Titan King Clovis became even worse. The greater the comfort he gets. In a short period of time, the Angel clan should not be able to deal with the Titan clan again. After all, if the Titans were to be brought to death, they would have already summoned an army of angels to take action when the 7 18-winged archangels were still there. In other words, the Titan God realm is very safe now. I can choose to practice here and watch the changes in the battlefield of all realms. Sky God Fox felt that his plan was very feasible, but for some reason, he had a bad feeling in his heart. He was panicking, as if something ominous was about to happen to him. It must be my misunderstanding. After all, this is a Titan. However, at this time, he didn't wait for Sky God Fox's words to finish. Figures with terrifying auras suddenly arrived near this sacred mountain. Each of these figures is over 1,000,000 meters high. That is their supreme divine body. There are 5 figures in total. Among them, 3 are storm titans. The other 2 are from the giant family, namely the light giant and the frost giant. They are all the supreme gods who stand at the pinnacle of the battlefield in all realms. What's the situation? This unexpected incident startled the Sky God Fox. He instinctively took out his supreme divine weapon and held it tightly in his hand. But my heart was filled with confusion. Because he had no idea what was going on and why these supreme gods from the Titan God realm surrounded him. Do you think that, like the dark goddess Sylvia, he is also a villain with evil intentions? If so, then he is really unjust. Chapter 653. Her Royal Highness Angelia promised me. Bradley, what do you mean? Sky God Fox directly set his sights on Storm Titan God King Bradley. After the Titan God King Clovis stepped down from the position of God King, he was succeeded by the Storm Titan King Bradley. Of course he knew about this. After all, the spirit of the world's laws has passed on relevant information to all living creatures in the Titan God realm. The five-man team that surrounded him this time was also headed by the Storm Titan King Bradley. Don't be nervous, Fox. Storm Titan God King Bradley said calmly. I just want to ask you to sit down and have a good chat. Sit down and talk. Sky God Fox did not relax his vigilance. He glanced at the giant hammer in Bradley's hand that was bursting with countless thunders, and said, if it's just a chat, why do you need to bring a weapon? Bradley's supreme artifact, Storm Sword, was destroyed by Angelia's punch in the previous battle. This Thunder Hammer is also a supreme artifact. Bradley had just found it from the Titan clan's treasure house. Although it is not his natal artifact, it has reached the level of the supreme artifact and can still be used temporarily. Before Storm Titan God King Bradley can speak, the Sky God Fox continued. I have surrendered to your Titan clan a long time ago. I have an oath to prove it, and the Titan God King Clovis can also prove it for me. I am definitely not someone like the Dark Goddess Sylvia. Pledge. The supreme god of the frost giants sneered. His whole body is blue, dotted with shiny gems. Looks extremely dazzling, he said. Before entering the Tower of Eternity, the Dark Goddess Sylvia also made an oath witnessed by the spirit of the laws of the battlefield of all realms, but what was the result? Quote. Sky God Fox was speechless. These days, can't you even trust your oath? Seemingly thinking of something, the Sky God Fox quickly said, all my divine forces have been relocated to the Titan God's domain. If I have other intentions, wouldn't I have indirectly killed the billions of people under my command? Of God and a believer. So, you can completely trust me. I know everything you said. I have always believed that you have no intention of betraying my Titan clan. Storm Titan God King Bradley nodded in agreement. However, before Sky God Fox breathed a sigh of relief, Bradley continued, however, these are of little use. If you want to blame you for betraying the natural god system. Hearing this, the Sky God Fox looked shocked. Looking at Storm Titan God King Bradley with a look of astonishment, he said, since when did you Titans start to stand up for the natural gods? It's not about standing up for the natural gods, but... Storm Titan God King Bradley stared at Sky God Fox in silence. You shouldn't refuse to become a god of the Lord of Holy Light. If it were the Lord of Holy Light back then, he probably wouldn't care about a small role like you. But the current Lord of Holy Light is the reincarnation. And the body of reincarnation is still human. If nothing else, you will be labeled as a heretic traitor by the Lord of Holy Light. What do you want to do? Sky God Fox looked at Storm Titan God King Bradley with an expression of disbelief. In fact, he had already guessed some information. But I can't believe it anyway. Storm Titan God King Bradley said very straightforwardly. In order to resolve the conflict between my Titan clan and the Angel clan, I can only wrong you. When you get to the crown of the Lord of Holy Light, remember to say a good word for our Titan clan. Damn it. Sky God Fox cursed loudly. The newly appointed Storm Titan King actually wanted to capture him and hand him over to the Lord of Holy Light. This simply shattered his worldview and cognitive outlook. Bradley, you are His Majesty the God King of the Titan clan, with the purest blood of the 12 Titans flowing in your body. How can you actually do such a thing? Aren't you afraid of being ridiculed by your tribe, believers, and even the creatures in the universe? History is always written by the victors. Storm Titan God King Bradley said with an indifferent expression. When our Titans successfully board the ship controlled by the Lord of Holy Light, in the new cosmic era, our Titans will be the winners. How could you do this? The God of the Sky, Fox, said angrily. Once you surrender to the Lord of Holy Light and bow your head to the angels, how will you face your Creator, the 12 Titans in the future? You know, they are powerful beings who have ruled the universe for a long time. As soon as these words came out, the two Storm Titans present and the two supreme gods of the giant race all set their sights on the Storm Titan God King Bradley. At first, they expressed disbelief when they learned about Bradley's idea. Even unacceptable. But the problem is, they can't resist Bradley's will of the God King. Bradley was as calm as ever. You are right. I really cannot face the 12 Titans who created my Titan clan. But in front of the Lord of Holy Light, the 12 Titans have to be respectfully called His Majesty. The 18-winged Archangel Angelia has already promised me As long as our Titan family is willing to surrender and submit our faith to the Lord of Holy Light, then everything will remain as usual. What our Titan family looks like now, what they will look like in the future. So, Fox, do you understand? Chapter 654. They pissed me off and they suppressed them all. Hear these words. It was not just Sky God Fox who looked in disbelief. The two supreme gods of the Storm Titan present and the two supreme gods from the Giant Clan all looked at the Storm Titan god King Bradley with astonished expressions. Because they didn't know when the Storm Titan god King Bradley actually colluded with the Angel Clan. He even got a promise from the 18-winged Archangel Angelia. For the Titans, this move is tantamount to the act of a traitor, betraying the interests of the entire ethnic group. Storm Titan god King Bradley did not pay attention to the astonished looks of several people. He has now sat on the throne of the Titan God King, and it is almost impossible for him to step down. However, he still explained, Her Highness Angelia made a promise to me when the 718-winged archangels left my Titan God realm. I don't think I'm betraying the Titans. Instead, we are saving the entire tribe. With the loss of the Tower of Eternity, our Titan clan has lost its hope and future. If we blindly oppose the Angel clan, we will eventually fall into a place of eternal disaster. You have also seen the fate of the Evil God Alliance. I don't want to wait until my Titan clan suffers heavy losses before I think of bowing my head to the Angel clan. Return as soon as possible to ensure that the tribe will still prosper. His Majesty, a Storm Titan Supreme God asked hesitantly, does Clovis and the Supreme Gods of the Thunder Titan clan know about this matter? Why let them know? Storm Titan God King Bradley asked rhetorically. Then he said, Now, I am the ruler of the Titan God realm. It is my responsibility and obligation to guide the way forward for the Titan clan. They only need to follow my footsteps. The Supreme God of the Storm Titan twitched his lips and said, If they find out, a civil war will most likely break out in our clan. Especially Clovis, he will never agree to bow his head to the Angel clan. Quote. Bradley sneered, If he doesn't agree, I will arrest him and hand him over to the Angel clan for disposal. Now, I have established a close connection with the world law spirit of the Titan God realm, and I can use part of the original power of the God realm. Even Clovis is no longer my opponent. If they pissed me off, they suppressed them. For taking refuge in the Angel clan. Storm Titan God King Bradley's will is very firm. Not just because the 18-winged Archangel Angelia promised him to ensure the eternal inheritance of the Titan family. More importantly, Angelia promised that he would be the eternal ruler of the Titan realm. As long as he is under the rule of the Angel clan, no one can take away his throne as the Titan God King. Even if the Titan God King Clovis makes a comeback, or even luckily breaks through to the realm of the Supreme God, his throne as the God King will still be as stable as a mountain. He had had enough of his position as King of the Storm Titans. He dreams of becoming the ruler of the Titan realm. Now that his dream has come true, how can he be willing to give up? In Bradley's view, the Angel family is his current supporter. As long as the Angel clan is here and has the support of the Lord of Holy Light, he will not be afraid of being sanctioned even if the 12 Titans and the Ancient Titans return. Just like he said before, the divine power of the 12 Titans is still under the Lord of Holy Light. Hear what Bradley said. The two supreme gods of the Storm Titan and the two supreme gods of the giant race present all had twitching expressions. They discovered that since becoming the ruler of the Titan realm, Bradley's character has become extremely arrogant. When he was the king of the Storm Titans, although he was not cautious with his words, he was at least very cautious in his behavior and did not dare to offend the Titan god King Clovis. Now, he has become the Titan King. He simply ignored Clovis and even the entire Thunder Titan clan. The arrogance index has increased by more than 10 times. However, even so, they did not take a stand against the Storm Titan King Bradley. The reason is simple. Bradley's backers are the Angels. And their backer is Bradley. Whatever Bradley was going to do, they just had to follow. Anyway, even if the sky falls, the Storm Titan King will hold it up for them. What are they afraid of? Here, the Sky God Fox also recovered from the shock. His first instinct was to run away. He didn't want to be captured by Bradley and handed over to the Angels. Because in that case, he will die miserably. However, there seemed to be no chance for him to escape. In just an instant, time and space within a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers was blocked by a terrifying original force. Its sealing power is so powerful that even he, as the Supreme God, cannot break it. This is the action of the world law spirit of the Titan God realm. The power of the spirit of world law in the Titan God realm has also reached the level of the supreme gods, and its origin is 10,000 times greater. Although it could not suppress the 718 winged archangels, it had no problem suppressing the sky god fox. Chapter 655. What I said is evidence. Damn it. Bradley, you traitor to the Titan clan. Are you going to abandon the glory bestowed upon you by the 12 Titans? The sky god fox roared angrily while holding a divine sword and slashing wildly at the blocked time and space around him in an attempt to escape the fate of being suppressed. Don't be too careful, Storm Titan God King Bradley said with a cold expression. Long before coming, I sealed this area with a secret method. Your voice, and even your spiritual consciousness, cannot be transmitted at all. No one knew you were going to be put down here. Even if someone notices you, they will only think you are a foreigner harboring evil intentions. After all, I am the Titan God King now. What I said is evidence. Hearing this, the sky god fox was immediately furious. He now regrets taking refuge in the Titan system even more. The useless Titan God King Clovis lost the super artifact Tower of Eternity and also lost his own throne of God King, and now he is facing the situation of being suppressed. He was absolutely pissed off at Clovis. If he had known this was the case, he should have gone to join the Holy and Light camp with Heloise, the goddess of nature and elves. Although a god who becomes the Lord of Holy Light will lose his freedom and his dream of climbing to higher heights. But it is better than being escorted before the Lord of Holy Light as a betrayer. They are all going to meet the Lord of Holy Light, but one takes refuge and the other is caught, and the treatment and outcome are completely different. Bradley, the angel family is the most cunning and good at deceiving people. Especially the 18-winged archangel Angelia. Her reputation as a sinister person has been known to the gods as early as the era of the Holy Demon War. You must not let her deceive you. Seeing that there was nowhere to escape, Fox, the god of the sky, could only continue to persuade and make a final struggle. However, how could the firm will of Storm Titan God King Bradley be shaken by a few words from Sky God Fox? No need to waste your breath anymore. Your end has already been determined. Storm Titan God King Bradley no longer talks nonsense to the Sky God. Holding a giant thunder hammer, he rushed towards Gufu first. Seeing this scene, the two supreme gods of the Storm Titan and the two supreme gods of the Giant Clan did not hesitate at all. They held their own supreme artifacts and went to help Bradley. Soon, another supreme divine war broke out. This time, it's 5 against 1. The Sky God Fox is just a slightly outstanding supreme god, and his divine power is at most comparable to that of the fallen god King of Destruction Osmond. 1-on-1, he is no match for Storm Titan God King Bradley. Not to mention, Bradley is surrounded by 4 supreme gods to help him. Therefore, as soon as the divine war broke out, the Sky God Fox was at a disadvantage and was beaten back continuously. Not long after, Fox sprayed several mouthfuls of golden divine blood and was severely injured. Less than a quarter of an hour. The 5 supreme gods of the Titan God realm, including Bradley, beat the Sky God Fox until he lost his temper. Damn Bradley. Damn the Titans. One day, you will pay for what you did today. The Sky God Fox roared angrily, his expression distorted. Immediately afterwards, an extremely terrifying wave of divine power emerged from him. Seeing this, Storm Titan God King Bradley's expression remained unchanged. He seemed to have been prepared and retreated hundreds of millions of miles away with the 4 supreme gods. Spirit of the world's laws, it's your turn. No matter what, we cannot allow him to succeed in self-destruction. Whether our Titan clan can win the favor of the Lord of Holy Light depends on whether you can suppress this guy. As Bradley's words fell, the vast world origin power of the Titan God realm suddenly gathered from all directions, forming a giant sphere and wrapping the Sky God Fox who intended to self-destruct inside. At the same time, there are countless original laws piercing into the body of Sky God Fox. A part of the spirit that imprisoned Fox. Part of the Godhead that imprisoned Vox. At this moment, Fox's soul power and the divine power in his Godhead were all boiling, and he was on the verge of self-destruction. For Fox, the god of the sky, self-destruction is his only option now. After all, after self-destruction, although he lost the power of his body, his consciousness was able to be resurrected with the help of the incarnation, which was equivalent to escaping from death. But what if he was caught by Bradley and handed over to the angel family? That's not as simple as losing the original body. Falling into the hands of the 18-winged archangel Angelia, he is likely to be completely sent away by a sword of destiny. By then, it will be impossible for him to even be resurrected. However, the sky god Fox soon discovered his self-destruction plan seems unlikely to succeed. Because the world origin of Titan God realm is so powerful that it completely exceeds his endurance limit. It didn't even take long before his soul and godhead were banned directly. Damn it. Did the spirit of world law in the Titan God realm also rebel? Chapter 656. The spirit of world law that bullies the weak and fears the strong. The god of the sky, Fox, looked ashen. There was an obvious hint of panic in the dark blue pupils. At this moment, his soul and divine personality were sealed by the spirit of world law in the Titan God realm. Although he can still move freely, he can no longer use his divine power. As for self-destruction, that is even more impossible. He has now become a prisoner of the Storm Titan Lord Bradley, and is at his mercy. What frightens Sky God Fox the most is, once Bradley hands him over to the angels, his fate will be unpredictable. At least he was imprisoned by a seal and studied by the 18-winged fallen archangel named Astia. More seriously, it was very likely that Angelia would directly kill him with the sword of fate. No matter which outcome it was, he couldn't accept it. In fact, it would be difficult to stop his self-destruction plan with the power of Storm Titan God King Bradley and others alone, let alone forcefully seal him before he self-destructs. This is the power of the spirit of world law from the Titan God realm. And it is targeting him with all its strength. This inevitably made him wonder whether even the spirit of world law in the Titan God realm had defected to the angel clan. Otherwise, as a spiritual being from one world, how could he work so hard? When the 18-winged archangels of the angel clan invaded the Titan God realm, he did not see the world law spirit of the Titan God realm stand up and fight against the 7 archangels. That's really what I said. Bully the weak and fear the strong. Pick the soft persimmons. In fact, the sky god Fox really didn't guess anything. The spirit of world law in the Titan God realm is really dedicated to pinching soft persimmons. The 18-winged archangels headed by Angelia had previously invaded the Titan God realm and had already fought against it. Its world origin power cannot compete with the power of 18-winged archangels. Even the will of the Titans and the restrictions imposed by the ancient Titans were completely broken by the 18-winged archangels. Angelia and others easily entered the Titan God realm. With such a lesson learned, how could the world law spirit of the Titan God realm dare to help the Titan God King Clovis and others fight against the 18-winged archangels in the subsequent conflicts? Tens of millions of years ago, when the angel clan swept across the universe, they purified the wisdom of countless extraordinary worlds. Everyone knows this. Although the spirit of world law in the Titan God realm is equally rigid, it is not stupid. It also knows who it can offend. No one should be offended. Compared to the 7 terrifyingly powerful 18-winged archangels, the sky god Fox is just a soft persimmon that can be kneaded by him at will. It is happy to help the Storm Titan God King Bradley suppress and seal the sky god Fox, and hand it over to the angel clan in exchange for friendship. The reason for doing this? It's because it doesn't want to see the 18-winged archangels forcing their way into the Titan God realm happen again. After all, the next time something like this happens, there is no guarantee that the 18-winged archangels will continue to show mercy to it. If Angelia and the others go crazy, kill it. Wouldn't it be that its countless millions of years of hard training were directly destroyed in one fell swoop? It also wants to be promoted to the level of the spirit of law in the battlefield of the world. When the spirit of world law from the 10,000 realms battlefield came to the Titan God realm, although it failed to suppress the dark goddess Sylvia, the terrifying intensity of consciousness still filled her with awe and worship. Compared to the spirit of world law in the battlefield of all realms, it is still very young. I don't want to die prematurely. Inside the original sealed ball, Sky God Fox glared at Storm Titan God King Bradley with a distorted expression, and roared, "Bradley, I curse your wish will never come true. I pray to the powerful 12 Titans return to the Titan God realm and personally erase the shame you have brought to the Titan clan. Bradley, I curse you. Sooner or later you will regret what you have done and pay the price of despair." "Curse me," Storm Titan God King Bradley sneered and said. "Do you think you are the cursed goddess Claytel? Besides, even if you, like Claytel, master the supreme law of cause and effect, your curse will not matter to me. It's of no use. I will eventually embrace the holy light, and any curse will be purified." Hearing this, the sky god Fox spurted out a mouthful of golden divine blood. He was angry, but also because he had been hit hard just now. His soul, divine personality, and even divinity were completely sealed, and his injuries could not be recovered in a short time. No more nonsense with Sky God Fox. Bradley was about to put away the sealed ball. But at this moment, three towering figures with terrifying auras suddenly appeared hundreds of millions of kilometers away. They are the three supreme gods of the Thunder Titan clan. Their bodies were wrapped with countless thick purple thunderbolts, which looked more shocking than the arrival of the mythical god of thunder. Chapter 657 The glory of the Titan clan has been lost long ago. There are four supreme gods in the Thunder Titan clan. The Titan god King Clovis is cultivating in seclusion at Thunder Spirit Holy Land. The remaining three supreme thunder gods came together. The first time they arrived, their eyes fell on the sky god Fox, who was imprisoned in the sealed ball, and they were surprised for a moment. Your Majesty Bradley, can you please lift the restriction and let me wade in? One of them said in a voice like rolling thunder. The entire area of hundreds of millions of kilometers is shrouded in the secret technique of Storm Titan God King Bradley, and coupled with the imprisonment of the original power of the Titan God realm, it is difficult for them to enter it. If you must break in by force, that's no problem. But that's obviously disrespectful to Storm Titan God King Bradley. Today's Titan clan is in a very special period. They dare not fall out with Bradley again, otherwise the Thunder Titan clan under their command will be implicated. Come in. Storm Titan God King Bradley easily lifted the secret technique. At the same time, the original power of the world in the Titan God realm also receded and returned to the space between heaven and earth. Only the ball of seal that imprisons the sky god Fox remains unbreakable. Your Majesty, what happened? A Thunder Supreme God asked puzzledly, and then said, Fox has surrendered to our Titan clan, why does Your Majesty want to imprison and seal him? Storm Titan God King Bradley said coldly, are you questioning me? Don't dare. The Supreme God of Thunder quickly shook his head and explained, I am just a little puzzled by His Majesty's sudden imprisonment of the Sky God Fox. Before Bradley could say anything, the Sky God Fox inside the sealed ball roared loudly, Bradley wants to capture me and hand me over to the Angel clan in exchange for the favor of the Lord of Holy Light. He has already surrendered to those angels and betrayed the faith of your Titan clan. Hear this. The three supreme gods of the Thunder Titan clan were immediately frightened and took a few steps back. He looked at Storm Titan God King Bradley with an expression of shock and disbelief. Their newly appointed God King actually joined the Angel clan. This is really hell. If this was true, wouldn't they have put a traitor on the throne of the Titan King? If word spreads, all creatures in the universe will laugh at them. His Majesty the God King. Is what Fox said true? The three supreme gods of the Thunder Titan clan asked in unison. In their voices, the respect they originally had for the Storm Titan God King Bradley was gone. It's obvious. They believed what the Sky God Fox said. After all, it is impossible for a supreme god to tell such lies that can be exposed immediately. Storm Titan God King Bradley said calmly, so what if it is, what if it isn't? A Thunder Supreme God gritted his teeth and said, if your Majesty really bows your head to the Angel clan, then you are a sinner of our clan. You have abandoned the glory passed down to us by your ancestors. Bradley said, the glory of my Titan family has been lost by Clovis. The Supreme God of Thunder said, even so, the fighting spirit given to us by our ancestors should not be thrown away by your Majesty. The era of the Holy Demon War. Faced with the terrifying Void Demon clan, countless of our people fell on the battlefield. However, no tribesman has ever backed down. The battlefield is the glorious destination of our Titan clan. Even if we are faced with a desperate situation, we must move forward bravely. This is the most precious thing passed down to our Titan clan by our ancestors, not the so-called Tower of Eternity. Yeah, Bradley sneered and said, if no one backs down, what will happen to those dark titans who betrayed the tribe? For a moment, the thundering supreme god was speechless. The Dark Titan has always been a mark of shame for the Titan family. The Titan god King Clovis has issued oracle bans more than once, prohibiting anyone from mentioning the Dark Titans who were bewitched by the power of the abyss. But now, Bradley has revealed the family scandal. Another Thunder Supreme God said in a deep voice, no matter what, your Majesty should not take refuge in the Angel clan. After all, this move is destroying our clan's belief in the 12 Titan Titans. Beliefs can be replaced, but once the tribe dies, there will be nothing left. Storm Titan God King Bradley did not want to waste any more time and said directly, I have concluded a contract with the 18-winged Archangel Angelia. As long as I surrender, the Angel Clan will no longer burn the flames of war to my Titan. Spirit World. Both the Storm Titans and the Giants will obey my will. As for you Thunder Titan Clan, whether you comply or not is your own business, and you will bear the consequences yourself. Hearing this, the expressions of the three supreme thunder gods became extremely ugly. Surrender, they are sinners. If they don't surrender, the entire Thunder Titan clan may be destroyed. What the hell is going on? At this moment, they couldn't help but think of the Titan god King Clovis again. It's all Clovis' fault. If he hadn't lost the Tower of Eternity, why would they be in the current dilemma? Chapter 658. Do I care about their life or death? Wait, don't leave. Hurry up and get me out. I'm one of your own. Inside the sealed ball, the Sky God Fox was screaming in terror. It turned out that after listening to the words of the Storm Titan god King Bradley, the three supreme gods from the Thunder Titan clan left the area in silence for a moment. What does the life and death of Sky God Fox have to do with them? Even if they knew that the Storm Titan god King Bradley was going to lead the Storm Titan clan and the giant race to join the Angel clan, they would not be able to fall out with Bradley for a god of the sky. After all, Bradley is now the ruler of the Titan realm. Just now, they had sensed power fluctuations from the spirit of world law in the Titan god realm. Apparently, the spirit of world law was also supporting Bradley. In other words, once they fall out, Bradley and the supreme gods around him don't even need to take action personally. The original divine power of the spirit of the world's laws alone is enough to suppress them. In the Titan realm, facing the spirit of world law that governs everything, these Titans don't have much ability to resist. Even if they are all supreme gods. Because the origin of their divine power is connected with the origin of the Titan god realm. The spirit of the world's laws has given them inexhaustible divine power in the Titan god realm, as well as an increase in talent in the field of practice, etc., but it also restricts their power. Bradley can directly let the spirit of world law suppress them. They feel the same now as Bradley did back then. At the beginning, Bradley, as the king of the Storm Titans, did not dare to resist the Titan King Clovis at all, and acted cautiously. Now, they also dare not resist Bradley, who has ascended the throne of God King. Therefore, they were in no mood to care about the life or death of the Sky God Fox. They need to go back quickly and summon the top leaders of the Thunder Titan clan to discuss how to deal with the betrayal of the Storm Titan god King Bradley. Whether it is surrendering or continuing to be the enemy of the Angel clan. Always get a charter, no one will come to save you. Give up. If you want to blame it, it's your fault for making the wrong choice. Storm Titan god King Bradley put away the sealed ball with a wave of his right hand. As for the Sky God Fox, the last scene he left in the Titan God realm showed a look of despair. He knew he was going to die. At this time, a Storm Titan Supreme God said, "Your Majesty, if we take refuge in the Angel clan, what will happen to the Dragon clan and Ancient Gods camps? Do I care about their life or death?" Storm Titan God King Bradley sneered and said, "The 718 winged archangels invaded our Titan God realm before. What were they doing? Standing in the void outside the territory and watching the show. It would be best if all these guys died. That way, my Titan clan can take over their faith territory." The Supreme Storm Titan's face twitched and he said, "Whether it is the Dragon clan gods or the Ancient Gods camp, they are our die-hard allies. In order to help us, they even had many supreme gods fall into the void outside the territory. The reason why they dare not enter the Titan God realm is also because they suffered heavy losses and were defeated by the terrifying power of the 718 winged archangels." In his opinion, it is completely understandable for the Dragon Gods and Ancient Gods camps to sit back and watch the show. Moreover, the 718 winged archangels have gone crazy. It is a good thing that the supreme gods of the Dragon and Ancient Gods did not enter the Titan God realm. If those 18 winged archangels become murderous again after coming in, more supreme gods will fall by then, and they may even be implicated in their Titan clan. His Majesty, I feel that if we can bring the Dragon Gods and Ancient Gods together to join the Lord of Holy Light, then the Lord of Holy Light will definitely favor us even more. What you said makes sense. Storm Titan King Bradley nodded in agreement. Then he said, "Send several Titan Lords to the Dragon Gods and Ancient Gods camps respectively. Be straightforward and tell them clearly what we are going to do. After the words have been said, it is their own business to choose." "Your Majesty is wise." Several supreme gods saluted and complimented him. Bradley added, "You go down and prepare yourself, and make sure that all the clan members are on our side. After the Thunder Titan clan makes the final decision, I will take you to meet the Lord of Holy Light. As you command, His Majesty the God King. Several supreme gods immediately respectfully withdrew. After they all left, Storm Titan God King Bradley sighed secretly and said to himself, if it weren't for the lack of choice, how could I be willing to bow my head to others? Your ideas are dangerous. At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared. Bradley turned his head and looked warily, and suddenly saw the figure showing a strange and illusory state. Lord Holy Spirit. He immediately greeted him with respect in his expression. This illusory figure, which Bradley calls Lord Holy Spirit, is the spirit of world law in the Titan God realm. Its existence is older than the Titan clan. Because before the Titan clan was created by the 12 Titans, the Titan God realm had already been created. It was once the headquarters of the 12 Titans and the ancient Titans. Chapter 659 Gate of Chaos. Facing the spirit of world law in the Titan God realm. The Storm Titan God King Bradley, who no longer suppressed his once arrogant personality, did not dare to be disrespectful. Because the spirit of the world's laws is the true master of the world. Whether you can become the Titan God King must be recognized by the spirit of the world's laws. Just like when Lin Yu ascended to the position of Island Master. It was 014965, the spirit of the world law of the floating island, that gave him the identity of the island owner. Previously, when the Titan God King Clovis handed the Thunder Mark to Bradley, if the spirit of the world's laws objected, Bradley would not be able to become the current Storm Titan God King. Therefore, Bradley is respectful when facing the spirit of world law in the Titan God realm. Bradley said quickly, Mr. Holy Spirit, please don't misunderstand me. I have no other thoughts. Since I have chosen to join the Angel Clan, I am naturally determined. Only you know what you think. The spirit of world law said, I just want to tell you that I have just made contact with the 12 Titans, and the Gate of Chaos they guard is under terrible attack. This means that another enemy from another universe is about to invade our universe. What? Storm Titan God King Bradley was immediately shocked. In the words of the spirit of the world's laws, two pieces of information were revealed that surprised him. First, the 12 Titans who created their Titan clan actually did not fall, and have been guarding the so-called Gate of Chaos for so many years. He didn't know what the Chaos Gate was. Never seen it. But he knew that this door must be very important, as it guarded the safety of this universe. Secondly, the battle in the universe is about to start again. Bradley hurriedly asked, Lord Holy Spirit, is the Void Demon tribe coming back again? The spirit of world law shook his head and said, I don't know. The 12 Titans didn't reveal much information to me. They only told me that this time the battle in the universe will be more tragic than the battle between saints and demons. I presume, the alien forces that invade our universe this time may not just be the Void Demons. There are powerful forces from other universes. The words paused for a moment. The spirit of world law continued. Back then, the Void Demon clan actually entered our universe with the help of a large crack in the universe that accidentally appeared. After the war, the Lord of Holy Light repaired this big crack in the universe. The real portal into our universe is actually the Gate of Chaos guarded by the 12 Titans. Once the Gate of Chaos is opened or broken, forces from other universes can easily invade our universe. Oh my God! Bradley took a deep breath. A look of horror appeared on his resolute face, which was as sharp as a knife or an axe. Tens of millions of years ago, the invasion of the Void Demon clan brought huge harm to their universe. Countless creatures were devoured and countless extraordinary worlds were destroyed. If no Angel clan joins the war, I still don't know what the outcome of the Holy Demon War will be. Even if we can win, this universe will definitely be crippled and crippled. It is the Angel clan that can turn the tide, in exchange for a glorious victory in the battle between saints and demons. Although their Titan clan also killed a large number of Void Demons in the war, the Angel clan was the absolute main force on the battlefield. This is also undeniable. Back then, just one Void Demon almost destroyed all realms of the universe. Now, in addition to the Void Demon clan, there are actually forces from other universes that will invade together. What the hell is going on? He has just ascended the throne of the Titan King. I actually received such bad news. Bradley was heartbroken. He rubbed his forehead and said with a wry smile, So, Lord Holy Spirit warned me not to have other ideas and to follow the footsteps of the Lord of Holy Light and the Angel clan, right? Good. The spirit of world law said, The Lord of Holy Light is the greatest being in our universe and the hope of redemption for all. Not only the Titans, but all races in the universe can only survive this cosmic catastrophe if they follow the Lord of Holy Light. This is also the information that the 12 Titans asked me to convey to you. According to common sense, the Thunder Titan clan is the orthodoxy of the God realm. Even if Clovis loses the Tower of Eternity, his position as God King will not be shaken, let alone taken away by you as the Storm Titan. The reason why I approve of you is because I think you are more obedient than Clovis. Clovis is destined to be unable to live in harmony with the Angel clan because of his relationship with the old God King. Especially the 18-winged Archangel Christina, whom he regards as his enemy. But you are different. Compared to Clovis, you are a creative talent. So, do you understand? I see, Bradley said with a solemn expression. I will definitely follow the will of the Titan, remember the reminder of the Holy Spirit, and follow closely behind the crown of the Lord of Holy Light. Everything is for the inheritance of the Titan bloodline. Chapter 660. It turns out that the Lord of Holy Light is so awesome. The spirit of world law nodded towards Bradley with satisfaction. Bradley's obedience makes him feel like a child can be taught and a rotten wood can be carved. In comparison, Titan God King Clovis is a stubborn donkey. If it hadn't been for the sake of the old God King, it would have been looking for the next ruler of the Titan God realm. This time, the Titan God King Clovis lost the Tower of Eternity, which happened to push Bradley to the throne of the God King. In this way, the Titan clan and the Angel clan have an opportunity to further draw closer to each other. At this time, Storm Titan God King Bradley suddenly asked, Lord Holy Spirit, why have we, the Titans, never known the whereabouts of the 12 Titans and the ancient Titans for so many years? Even Ion doesn't seem to know. The spirit of world law said, the gate of chaos is too important to our universe. Naturally, the fewer people who know this secret, the better. And that year, the 12 Titans and the ancient Titans were sent to guard the gate of chaos because of an unexpected incident. At that time, there were forces from different universes attacking the gate of chaos. Had it not been for the mighty suppression of the Lord of Holy Light, our universe would have been invaded back then. After this incident, the 12 Titans and the ancient Titans have been guarding the gate of chaos. However, the forces invading our universe this time are too many and too strong. Perhaps the Lord of Holy Light had already foreseen that he could no longer suppress the gate of chaos with his power, so he chose to be reincarnated in an attempt to obtain more powerful divine power. So that's it. Storm Titan God King Bradley suddenly realized. He now finally knows why the Lord of Holy Light suddenly reincarnated. It is not at all that the Lord of Holy Light has problems with his practice as rumored, but that the greatest being in the universe wants to become more powerful. Etc. Bradley suddenly thought of something. He looked at the spirit of world law in astonishment and said, Lord Holy Spirit, did you just say that the ancestors of our Titan clan were sent to guard the gate of chaos? If not, the spirit of world law glanced at him sideways and said, do you really think that the 12 Titans and the ancient Titans are powerful enough to rule the entire universe? Or, have you listened to those legends and thought that this universe was created by the ancestors of your Titan clan, so it is supreme? Hearing this, Bradley felt a little embarrassed. When he was young, he truly believed in such legends. After all, the ancient Titan clan headed by the 12 Titans did rule the battlefields of all realms, and even countless extraordinary worlds in the universe. That was the most glorious era of the Titan clan. It can only be said that he rules the entire universe. In comparison, tens of millions of years ago, the entire universe was swept away by the Angel clan. Of course, this was what he thought when he was young. As his divine power and experience increased, he gradually began to have some doubts about the legend of the creation of the universe by the 12 Titans. The root cause. The Lord of Holy Light is too powerful. If the universe was created by the 12 Titans, then their divine power should be stronger than the Lord of Holy Light. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Bradley asked, Lord Holy Spirit, does that mean that the legend of the angel family is true and that this universe was created by the Lord of Holy Light? Not really. The spirit of the world's laws shook his head and said, as far as I know, our universe was born naturally and was not created by the power of living things. However, there is one piece of information that is true. That means the Lord of Holy Light was born together with the universe. The Lord of Holy Light appeared when the universe was still in chaos. No one knows what his true form is, and no one knows what he went through in the chaotic era of the universe. The only thing I know is, the Lord of Holy Light controls the unique power of creation in the universe. With his power of creation, he can create the universe and all realms. If there is strong enough divine power to support it, then it is not a problem to create a complete universe. Back to your question just now. As you think, the person who sent the 12 titans and the ancient titans to guard the gate of chaos was the Lord of Holy Light. The power of the Lord of Holy Light is beyond anyone's imagination. However, he was not interested in conquering the universe. Everything he does is to protect our universe and maintain the order of our universe. After the ancient titans left, you, the titans, should have become the rulers of the universe, but obviously, your ability has not been favored by the Lord of Holy Light. So, he created a race of angels. If nothing unexpected happened, tens of millions of years ago, the angel clan had replaced the ancient titan clan and began to maintain the order of our universe as rulers. Hear these words. Storm Titan God King Bradley fell into a trance state for a long time. The narration of the spirit of world law made the impression of the Lord of Holy Light in his heart increase by countless levels. In fact, he even developed a feeling of worship for the Lord of Holy Light in his heart. Only now did he realize that the Lord of Holy Light was so awesome.